welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonia Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Good.
Today was a good day,
Today was a good day.
Niecy? We have our girl with us.
Look at her. She's so sweet.
Niecy
If you guys
is
are watching.
our fur baby. We've had her for 14 years.
It's crazy, huh?
It is crazy. And what's so crazy is that I remember being young and going to a friend's house, and she had a big dog in the house.
How old are you?
Probably around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And I was like, ew, that is so gross.
Wait, she had a dog where?
In the house.
Oh, it was just in the house.
I'm thinking, it was just in the house.
And you were like, that's fucking
And
gross.
I'm thinking, that is dirty. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
Like the dog's
it's
in the house. It's
dirty, right?
That's funny.
Because dogs are supposed to be outside. You know, that's how I grew up. Our dogs were outside dogs, and they were there to protect the family. They were not part of the family, and God forbid if they ever got sick, because they weren't going to the vets.
Dude, outside dogs look sad.
Don't they? But check this
Outside
out.
dogs look sad.
They do. And so, growing up, even, when I got old enough and, I had cats. And to me, cats, my house was always clean, never smelled like cats. And cats were so independent. And I remember one time I decided to get a dog. I'm like, I'm going to get me a dog.
Yeah.
And that dog did not last, because I'm like, this dog is like
Shedding everywhere. Accidents.
Well, all of that, but it was also like a child, because I had to take it out for walks. It likes to play. I couldn't when I wanted to leave out of town.
Take them out for walks.
Right. When I wanted to go out and travel, I had to do something with this dog. So it didn't last long at all. And I ended up giving it to my mom.
Cats, you could just put out enough food and have a litter box, and they're good.
But I had no idea how amazing a dog would be to have as a pet.
So you guys didn't have dogs or pets growing up?
I had cats. That's it.
I'm talking about
cats.
Oh, growing up you had cats?
With my mom, we had cats. I don't remember when my mom and dad were together if we had any pets. Oh, we did have a pet, but he was always outside. He was a guard dog.
Outside dog.
That's
sad as
that's
fuck.
what he
Always. Sad. Just outside. We're getting rained on and shit.
But it's like, Niecy.
Good thing he was in Arizona. He wasn't getting rained on.
Niecy is the first dog that I've ever had that I've grown so attached to. And we got Niecy together.
Yeah.
Right? When you and I got together.
Yeah. It was before we got married.
Yes. So she was like our first kid, and it was great. But now that I think about it, I think it was great because I was with you. We were together.
Yeah.
Our
dogs worked out just like our kids? Like the baby part anyway.
Oh.
Because Niecy was like so chill.
Yes.
And so perfect.
Yes.
And then when she was growing.
Very independent.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how long did it take you to potty train her? No joke. Probably 2 weeks.
It sounds crazy, but it was so fast.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fast that she's not trained. She kind of trained herself, but if I take her outside and try to make her go, she wouldn't go.
Yeah, she's stubborn.
Because she knows what
crap.
to do. Yeah.
But there's so much to learn from a dog. You understand? Yeah. Like, I feel that everyone should own a pet, because having her and then having Fraser as well, who we lost, has showed what joy is, I guess. It's like every day they wake up excited, like it's a new day.
Is it important, do you think, if you have kids, to have pets?
I feel
what are the benefits of having pets?
Well, I feel that it teaches them responsibility.
Dude, if you guys are listening, my allergies are kicking the shit out of me right now. It's so bad.
We'll talk about him getting old in a little bit. Hold on.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Babe, that is so disgusting.
I don't know what the hell happened,
my
man.
God.
My nose just started dripping like a faucet. I'm like, what the
nuts. Well, it was because we were hiking, but let's not go
Anyway,
there
sorry,
yet.
yeah. The pets,
So-
yes. Back to the pets.
Right. But yeah, it's just to teach them, forgiveness. Like
Well-
the dogs can get in,
And they'll tear your shit up.
well, what?
Our shit up? They
I wasn't even talking about
animals
that. What are
tear
you talking
shit up.
Well, she didn't.
Well, not her. She was like the perfect dog. Except for when she's crying. But
Niecy.
she the only thing that's not perfect is that she cries when
Look,
she misses
we
us.
look alike.
She
Look,
cries
look at
when
her
she
hair.
misses us.
Look at her hair. Look at her fur on her
For those of you watching.
ears. Look at her fur on her ears.
No, but I think
You know
it's
how
awesome.
they say you look like your pets? Like after a while, you start to look like your pets. We have the same color. Oh, mama.
Yeah.
She's such a good girl.
Anyway, you guys got to watch the podcast. But like, I think for kids and, well, for one, just the love that dogs give, it's different, right? Dogs and cats,
It's unconditional
right?
love from dogs. Let's not get into cats yet. But the thing of it is that, like I said, they wake up in the morning, they're excited. When they get in trouble, right, for doing something, it's like they know what they did was wrong, but it's almost as if they don't hold grudges. It's like you get that unconditional love. It's like you walk through the door. Imagine you, baby, if you would get the same response, right, from us.
Jumping on me as soon as I walk through the door.
You walk through the door. Oh my God.
You're
it's
waiting
so
at
good
the door,
to see you.
right?
I love you. And I'm shaking my ass for you. And I have my tongue
That would be so awesome.
hanging. And I'm licking you all the
Dude,
time.
I walk through the door and Sonia's twerking before me. She's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why it's so easy to love them. Because of the way
Yeah.
they love us.
It's cool.
And when you're having a down, when you're having one of those days, you can just feel alive and feel okay
Yeah.
when they approach you. It's just a feeling that you get.
I
And
didn't-
with the
I didn't-
kids too.
I didn't have
Same
any pets growing up when I was a kid. I think I had one. I had one growing up with my dad, and then with my mom we had two.
thing.
But the ones that I had with my mom, actually both of them. So with my dad, we had this dog called Lakey, and actually she was kind of, I don't remember too much about Lakey because she didn't last very long. I think we might have had her for a week, and she shit somewhere, and that was it.
Yes.
And it's like dog shit, like
Yeah,
that.
you gotta
like
train 'em.
You got to train them. You got to, But it was New York. We were in an apartment building,
that's-
in a small apartment.
Yeah, that's
and I
tough.
think it was like, from what I remember, Lady was similar to Niecy, like similar size, similar type of dog, and she was just little, And at that time, like with our responsibility, and like I said, when I was growing up, my parents were never home, so they weren't going to train her. It was going to be up to a kid, which wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to train her right.
Yeah.
And the first mistake she made, she was out.
Yeah.
And
And you have to have money when you own a pet because
if something happens,
things happen.
Well, maybe, kind of. It depends.
What does that mean? What do you mean? If the animal's sick, what are you going to do?
It depends.
Give her 7-Up?
Well, no, it depends on what tax bracket you're in. I mean, some people spend $10,000, $20,000 on a surgery, and some people will put the pet down.
Oh.
It just depends on where you're at. But
Right.
when and also when I was in Florida with my mom, we had 2 little Labradors. But my mom was
Aw.
busy. I was busy. I was like working.
Did you tell me your dog disappeared?
No. No. So what happened was, this is the thing, is my mom was working. Like, she was working a lot at that time. And I was working. I was going to high school and working. And I was going to high school, working. I think I was also playing football, also surfing, also a teenager, chasing girls and hanging out with my friends and whatever. So you just don't have a lot of time for puppies. Like,
You're not
specifically.
mature enough.
But puppies specifically. I mean, if you have a
Yes.
dog, when you're home, you can play with the dog and whatever. But when they're puppies, like they need attention. You know, you have to be there for them, and you can't be out partying if they're shitting and tearing up the carpet. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it just wasn't a good time. And I remember I was working the drive-thru at McDonald's, and my mom drove by. Like, she didn't drive through the drive-thru, but she drove by the street, and I could see her, and it was kind of like, hey, how's it going? And she was pointing to the back like something, and I'm like I didn't get it. All right. And then when I got home, what she was pointing at was like, the dogs are out of here. Like, I'm getting rid of them. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, when I got home, I was like, yeah, I get it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that we have kids, and I don't know if, I mean, for me, at that time, I was a teenager, you know, that's a little bit different. Yeah. But I think when you have little kids, there's a lot of benefits to having pets. You know, for one, it teaches them responsibility. You know, they have to clean up after them and feed them. And
take
it's
them for
little
walks.
Things that help them with responsibilities.
Right.
But some of the other things that a lot of people don't think about, like the love, the unconditional love when you're sad, like Audrey said, and Joey said with Frasier. Like, Frasier used to lift their spirits when they were sad. And Jane does the same thing for them. And even the cat now too, right?
Yes. Yes.
But it's just, I don't know. I think when you have kids, like, it's important.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, but we had another dog, Frasier, who we had for 11 years. We had Frasier before we had the kids as well. And we lost him a few years ago. And we all grieved together. Yeah. And I think that was the first. Yeah. Wasn't it? The first that we went through, like, of.
Like the first loss as a family.
Yes.
And that's the other thing that I was going to say, is that's also really important. You know, because obviously dogs, you know, their lifespan isn't our lifespan.
Right.
So if you get a puppy, your kids will go through that process. And that's sometimes, I mean, it's a little bit, it's part of life.
It is.
And it helps teach them that part. Yes. It helps teach them not just like the process of somebody or something passing away, but also appreciating them while they're here. You know?
Yep. And not only that, but they also, them seeing us go through the loss as well, because we were all heartbroken.
Yeah.
And that's something that we shared together.
That was our dog, Frasier.
Yeah.
He was a sweetheart.
Yes. And Nisi's 14 years old. You know, and then we have another one that's 3 years old.
Yeah, right? Frasier was a half boxer, half pit bull. And he was like the sweetest dog ever. I mean, for those of you that own those bully
fur babies,
I'm saying like the bully
type
dogs, right. You know, boxers, pit bulls, Rottweilers, like they get a bad rap sometimes, but they're so sweet. Like we have a pit bull that if she was just loose running down the street, she would scare the shit out of everybody probably. Same thing with Frasier, right? Like we would see our dog and you look at their face and you're like, they are so sweet. Like look at it. And other people see that same face and they are scared shitless.
Right.
It's crazy.
They'll cross the street.
Cross the street by it. They're fucking climbing on cars and shit. They don't want anything to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's crazy.
They're sweethearts.
Yes. So I've been on this hiking mission, right?
It's been fun.
Yeah, like I've been hiking almost every day.
Dude,
like today, all week, I think I did, except for
today was your third
Monday.
Hike. Today was the third this week?
Fourth.
Was it the fourth? Where'd you go?
We went to Brown Mountain, then we went to Wind Cave, and then the previous week I went on a hike with Nikki, and then I went on another hike.
That's right. You went with Nikki too.
Yeah.
And then we went to Treasure Loop today.
Yes.
Which was cool.
Yes.
Which one was the best out of all of them?
I think the one today.
What is the best hike that you've been on?
The last four? I think the one today.
Any hike ever. Oh. What's the best hike that you've been on?
Remember that one that you and I went to?
Okay, I think that might have been Peralta Trail.
Was it Peralta Trail?
It was a long one, right?
Yeah.
It had that cupcake rock
we weren't with
or
the
something
kids.
like that.
Yes. I liked that one. And then what was the other one with the writing on the rock?
That was a hieroglyph trail.
Yes.
Yes. So the one that we went on, that we posted some pictures way back on Instagram with my toes like grabbing onto the rocks. Remember that?
Yes.
But yeah, that was a good one too. That was cool. And there's a picture of you like on the edge of the rock, like hanging off the edge.
Let me talk about that. That there, it was freaky because it was a rock. What was it? Like a cliff, right? I mean, my feet were dangling. I looked down and there was nothing else there.
It's one of those like rock structures that kind of stick out.
Yes.
You know, and like it kind of sticks out and underneath it, there's nothing. So you're just kind of hanging.
It was exciting and scary at the same time because it's like, this rock is the only thing between you and death.
This
like,
thing snaps,
seriously,
you're gone. Or you fall off, you're gone.
And looking down, like that's what I liked about it too, was the feeling of just,
yeah.
I don't know.
You like that, don't you?
I don't know.
You like that exciting shit. Because we were coming back from hiking. You were seeing some people skydiving. You're like, I'd like to do that.
Yeah. I would like to skydive. And what was the other one?
Zip line.
Zip line.
You want a zip line?
I would like to zip.
What is it
as
about
well.
skydiving?
Just being free, like just being able to. It's breaking that fear, the barrier of fear. Because I think I'd be scared shitless. But also knowing that someone who is very educated on this jump gives me like a feeling of safety as well. Because I know I'm like, dude, if I die, you die.
Right,
so we're going to die together.
Right. So listen to this. Okay. So your birthday just passed. Right? Happy birthday, babe. I don't think we talked about it, right? Happy birthday, babe.
Thanks.
Your birthday just passed February 7th.
It was a weird one.
Yeah, it was a little different this year. We can get into that. But, so let's say for your birthday, instead of buying you a singing bowl for your meditation home and all that shit.
Can you put your...
Oh.
Never mind.
All right, anyway. But, dang it. Where's my sound effect? But let's say instead of that, I got you a skydiving voucher or some shit like that. What would you think about that?
Dude, that'd be great. Holy shit. I'd be like, holy shit. There's no turning back now. You know?
So we got Valentine's Day coming up. What if we did like a double?
Dude, I got to do it before my hips, before I get old.
That's what you were saying.
And I can't do it.
That's what you were saying before.
Sorry, Joey. Okay, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, like if I got you a double date Valentine's.
Double date?
Or not double date, but a double like Valentine's skydiving thing. What would you think? What would you say?
That would be really fun.
I'm gonna fucking throw your phone. I don't give a shit.
Our son is with his best friend. Okay, focus.
You focus.
I think it'd be great. It would be something, it would be a first for both of us.
I was thinking about that today when we were watching the people skydive, because it's not something that interests me really.
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean, it is fucking scary.
Right?
It's scary.
Like, this is it.
It's scary. It's one of those things. I don't know what the statistics are, but you hear that people...
Don't even look that up, okay?
No, I'm not talking about people that splatter into the earth.
Oh.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Don't even go there.
I'm talking about the people that go up. The statistics, like how many people go up in the plane and don't jump.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
My niece did it and she loved it. Your mom did it.
Which niece?
Nikki did it.
She skydived?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Dude, but to see the earth, you know, like just from way up there. And
what would you say if I got it for you?
That'd be cool.
You'd be excited.
I'd be excited
I'd
and nervous
shit
as
myself.
shit.
I'd be like, oh, fuck. Now I got to go skydive. I would do it.
It's do or die. It's do or die.
Oh man.
You know?
Yeah.
Do or die. But see, that's the thing. It's like, listen, this is the way I feel too. If God's going to take me, then he's going to take me. You know?
Yeah.
Like if it's my time, then it's my time. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I flew because I how old was I? Let's see, did I have my own place yet? I don't know. I was going to New York and it was my first flight ever. I've never been on an airplane.
How old were you?
My mom's never been on an airplane. Like my dad's never been on an airplane.
Well, the thing is that a lot of kids travel. So you weren't a kid traveling.
Well,
you hadn't flown.
No, we didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, so for me,
so how old were you?
I don't remember. I may have been 22.
Okay. Yeah. So not a kid.
Not a kid. And I just remember being on the airplane like, this is the coolest shit ever.
Really?
Yeah. And I loved the freaking turbulence.
It's like a roller coaster for you?
Yes. But there was no fear.
Yeah.
But I did experience that fear.
When?
Recently with our last flight. And it was
it the turbulence?
Freaking crazy. Not at all. Because I'm thinking
Florida.
Like we have such an amazing life and I'm so in love with my life.
Yeah.
And I have my son and my daughter and my husband. Like my whole world is on this airplane right now.
And if we were just like, meh.
And of course I'm trying to have a heart to heart and my husband just like blows it. But that actually brought a little bit of fear into my heart. And not only that, but Joey was sitting next to me.
Joey was tripping this last trip.
So I don't know if I was feeling his fear as well because I'm very intuitive, empathic. Yeah. Because he was scared for some reason. Well, I know why. Because they were talking about 9/11 at school.
We go on a family trip right after they've been talking about 9/11 and all the shit that happened in school.
Right. And that's what happened. And so I don't know if I was picking up on his fear, but that was the first time ever where I felt a sense of fear on an airplane and I had to get myself, back together, like focus. You're good. Everything's good.
Like traveling for me when I was a kid, like my dad and my mom, they work for the airlines. When the earliest memories that I have, my parents work for the airlines. Mm-hmm. So my mom worked for TWA. My dad used to work for Eastern and he still works for the airlines. So as a kid, like I've traveled my whole life. But there's a memory that I have coming back from Guatemala, visiting my family in Central America, coming back with my grandmother, and we're landing in LaGuardia Airport in New York. Mm-hmm. And the turbulence, like I had already been traveling a lot. Like this is to the point where like I have memories that I can remember now. And it was so bad that I traveled a lot. I was fucking scared. Mm-hmm. And what scared me was that other people were scared. And what they tell you is like, if the flight attendants are worried, then you should be fucking worried. You know what I mean? Because flight attendants, they fly through all kinds of shit. If they're worried, you should be fucking worried too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just remember there was just up and down and up and down. And I was a kid. And it was just like, brr,
yeah, that would definitely be.
And the other thing is that we are like 5 minutes from landing, and we're still like fucking bumpy as fuck. Mm-hmm. Like I'm hoping that this shit smooths out sometime before we land. You know what I mean? Like if we're bumpy up in the air, like at least that was my thought as a kid. Like bumpy up in the air, we can kind of like work it out on the way down. Mm-hmm. But if we're bumpy when we're trying to land, this is trouble. And I'm looking around, everybody's fucking, it was one of those flights, like people were fucking holding on to shit. I might have been like 9 or 8 or some shit like that. But yeah, that's like this. From what I remember, that was a scary. And I remember being with my grandmother. It was me and my grandmother flying back from Guatemala.
Oh hell no! Yeah, that sounds nuts.
It was just like holding my grandmother's hand, and it was one of those things. Like I could look across the aisle. They were worried. Like it was one of those where the flight attendants aren't in the aisle. They're sitting in their seats. They're fucking strapped in too.
Really?
You know what? It was one of those, and it was pretty fucking trippy. You know.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you're gonna go, you're gonna go.
Yep.
And I've traveled, I don't know how many times since then, but yeah. That's the scariest one that I remember.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And it was like I said, we were getting ready to land, and it was just like bumpy, bum, 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 up and down. And then all of a sudden and like I was wondering, like, are we gonna fucking hit the water before we hit the runway? You know, it was like that.
And so when all that was happening,
I just remember.
Was anyone talking to you or trying to calm you down? Like your grandmother?
I think my grandmother might have been. I don't remember. What I do remember is the sounds that I heard on the plane. Fucking people. And I'm like, oh, shit. We're fucking going to die today. You know what I mean? I just heard people fucking scream. Like we're on a roller coaster and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it was scary.
So my birthday just passed, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I was I don't know what I woke up with the birthday blues. Like I was feeling sad and a bit depressed, and I didn't know exactly where this feeling was coming from. Like I just felt like crying, and it was on a Monday, and normally you get up and you go to work, and I remember laying in bed, and I was hoping, and I haven't even talked to you about this, but I was like, please let him go to work. Please let him go to work. Because I felt like I needed time to cry, to release, to let go, to get into prayer, to whatever, in order to figure out what this was that I was feeling so that I can let it go, because I was unclear of why I was feeling so down.
Yeah.
And I was pretending that I was asleep when you woke up. And I remember hearing you go downstairs, but I didn't hear you get ready for work. I thought I heard you getting dressed.
Was that the day that the power went out?
It was on Monday.
That was the day the power went out, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
That's what it was.
And
I'm like a ninja when I get ready for work.
You are. And I was thinking to myself, oh, shit. Because I thought that you were going to work from home, and I was thinking maybe you were going to surprise me by staying home. But when you came to give me a kiss, telling me that you were going to work and happy birthday, I just had a sense of relief that you were leaving, because I needed this time to be alone.
I didn't see you on your birthday, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, our kids.
Yeah.
Like you were gone all day.
I mean, we were going through some stuff too, because
we can get into some
as a married couple, this is
kids are cock blockers. We'll just talk
part of it. Like, it's just when we always have a full house, it's very hard to have that one-on-one time.
Yeah.
And you can become, sexually agitated, frustrated, just all of it. And when it's nonstop, like kids take a whole lot of energy.
Like we said, their energy is
suckers. And you and I have, we're so focused on them. A lot of times we're pretty good with keeping in tune with each other. But for some reason, it was just, we were just off. And you seemed like you had some things going on, and I could feel it.
Yeah.
And so I felt you stressing as well. Normally I can, but it was a different kind of stress.
Yeah. And
I remember the day before, that Sunday, I decided that I was going to get Joey, because Joey's friend stayed the night on Saturday and you put the tent up, even though we were feeling stressed out, we continued to do for the kids. We continued to do. Yeah. They wanted their friends to stay the night. You put the tent up. They were, you had the fire going. They were doing s'mores, but we felt like exhausted, but we continued to push through and we continued to even bring on more kids.
It's just, it doesn't stop.
And so on Sunday, I decided, okay, well, I'm going to have Joey clean, do what he needs to do. And I'm going to send him and his friend back to his friend's house. I'm going to clean the house so that you don't have anything to do when you wake up. And Audrey and I are going to go to church, and I'm going to give you that time to release, let go, whatever's going on with you, because I felt something was going on with you. So I was hoping that was going to help you release whatever you were going through. But when I came home, instead of you taking that time to do you were fixing the freaking sink in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's
always something.
And so I was still feeling tension from you, or stress, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
And then Monday came around, and then I was feeling down and out. And I was like, what the hell? And I was trying to keep it together. And Audrey, I'm thinking to myself, just wait until 8 o'clock. Wait o'clock. Be strong. 8 o'clock. Adriana and I, we get up. We go to the gym. I come back. And she gives me a gift. And I'm like, oh, thank you, baby. And so I kept it together for the most part. And then I told her, hey, baby, go wake up Joey at 7 o'clock. I'm like, go wake up Joey. And so she goes upstairs, and I couldn't hold it in. And I started crying, not a normal cry, like a cry where you're like shaking, like it's a bad cry, right?
Yeah.
And she comes down and she catches me. I was in the pantry, and I thought she was going to take longer. I thought she was going to start getting ready, but she didn't. She came downstairs and she found me like that. And she was like, Mom, what's the matter? What's going on? Right? And I'm like, nothing, baby. I'm like, I'm just feeling sad today. And she looked at me, and I'm like, you have those emotional days. I said, where you just feel like crying and you're feeling sad and you don't know why. And she's like, yes. And I said, that's what it is. And to me, I felt that was a good thing, even though I was trying to keep it together, because she got to witness, okay, so then when I go through my down days, it's normal, because my mom has those days too, kind of deal.
Yeah. How is that? Because for you, a lot of times you are the person that like lifts everybody else's spirits. When everybody else is down, or other people are not, well, I'm not saying everybody else, but like, you have the people that are in your life that when they're down, they call you to try to lift them up.
Right.
And you're like that, the sunshine for other people when they're feeling down.
Right.
So when you're down, how is that for you?
It's tough. It's tough because I have to get myself together. I have to self-process. I have to go into prayer. I have to figure this out, because a lot of people are not calling to check in on me.
Because you're the one that's always calling to check on people and see how they're doing, and you're trying to brighten their day.
Exactly. And it's my birthday, and people are calling, and I'm ignoring their calls.
Yeah.
Right? But then I remember that isolation is the playground for the enemy. And what I mean by that is when you are feeling that way and you are isolating yourself, it tends to only get worse.
Yeah.
And I know that. And then in that moment, I'm like, I wish I had someone to talk to. And I started to miss my sister who passed. And that even made me feel worse.
So it's kind of like you could either work your way out or like sink into those feelings.
And I allow myself to feel sad, because I know with me, I know there's a reason why I'm feeling sad. I know that I need to release whatever it is. I need to find out what that is. I don't want to ignore it, because if I ignore it, it's only going to get worse. It's going to it's going to not even go away, but it's like when you cover up you get a cut, you put a Band-Aid on it.
So what do you have to do?
Well, this time around, my niece called me. And she brings me comfort because that's my daughter who, my sister that passed, that's her daughter. So her kids always bring me comfort.
I think that was perfect.
What?
It's just.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And it's crazy because it's like God knows, like God knows. And so she called me and immediately, like to me, I'm able to open up to her. Like she is that comfort for me. So as soon as she heard me, she's like,
"What's up?"
Mm-hmm. She's like, "I'm making myself cry right now." But she's like, okay. She's like, "I'm getting off of work early." She's like, "Do you want me to go to you?" She's like, "I'll be there at noon." And I'm like, "No," because I felt like I needed to get out. So I told her, "No, I'll go to you," and we ended up just talking, and we went for a hike, and we went out to eat, and she did my makeup. She dressed me. Like she just took me in, and we talked, and, after, everything, I realized that I need to take that time, that I need, a lot of times I'm filling up everybody else's cup.
Yeah.
And there's not too many people in my life that are filling my cup up.
Yeah.
And when my cup's running empty, so I realized that I need to start building that community again that I once had, because before I had my church community, I had my Legal Shield community, I had my notary community, like I had people around me that were pouring into me.
Is it the communities? The different communities that you're a part? I can't even.
Yeah, you can.
I can't even breathe right now.
It was that, and then it was us. That just feeling detached from you, because we were just been so busy, and I always preach it, right? And I always preach it, like you have to continue dating your significant other. Like you have to continue,
and we have been.
Right.
We always do.
But there was a disconnect during this time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, there was.
Yeah. Like I said.
And not only that, but I was off in many areas. Well, not in many areas, but if I'm not eating right, I don't feel right. If I'm not working out, like I'm not myself.
Yeah.
Once I got in the gym, started working out. I mean, I was working out in the mornings and then going hiking after on the same days.
Yeah.
And I think that's I feel like I know my spiritual weight, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I know where I'm supposed to be when it comes to my weight and my health.
Yeah.
And when that's not balanced, it throws everything else off. It throws everything out of whack, all of it. And I know that. So if I know that, then I need to continue to do what I need to do in order for me to have a healthy balance.
To get yourself back on track.
Right.
Who are those people that you could talk to? And what is it about those people? What do they have that kind of helps you get back on track? You already said, obviously, Nikki's one of them.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Because, too, I was missing my sister. I was missing my sister, and she is, for me, she's part of my sister. And so just having her around, and she understands me and she gets me. And there's another situation that we really can't talk about that also was bringing on the stress.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it at a later time, but right now it's not the time. And I was feeling overwhelmed in that situation. And she was exactly the person I needed to talk to, because she told me, that we did it before and we
can
did
do
a
it
great
again.
job and that we can do it again.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just, and for me, having that spiritual disconnect because I haven't been going to my connect groups with my church, or I haven't been hanging around with those people that are spiritual. I think that also played a big role in it too.
So just getting back connected with
Yep.
your community.
Right. And I think that's why, like, you hear people say it all the time, that if you're a believer, you know, if you believe in God, if you believe in a higher energy power, whatever it is, going to church, it's a deeper connection than just going to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, it's having those relationships, those people that you can pick up the phone and talk to. And not only that, but having that one-on-one time with God, like building that relationship. Because when I started to feel off, I knew exactly what I had to do in order to get back on that path. And a lot of people are very unaware with their inner God, their Holy Spirit, whatever it is.
Okay.
Because when you are connected, the voice, God, will talk to you and tell you what it is that you need to do. But if you're too busy or you're not connected, you're not going to hear those voices, and you're going to continue to go through that. You're going to continue to go through that dark tunnel.
Yeah.
And you're going to dig yourself in a hole so deep that you feel that you just can't get out, because life is very challenging. You know, there's someone in our life that we both know that is going through a very hard time right now. I mean, it's like one thing after another, after another, after another. And sometimes, you know, when we make bad decisions, it just continues to get worse.
Yeah.
And worse and worse. You know, and I don't know. It's.
Yeah, it can be tough.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm sure you felt it. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't see you until what?
Well, this was like the weirdest birthday your birthday that we've had. You know, like I don't know. I don't know about my birthdays, dude. I can't even fucking breathe right now. This is fucking stupid.
But the show must go on.
Go on. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know about my birthdays, but it's not. I don't know. I just don't see it as a big deal.
It's like
whatever. I don't give a fuck.
And I'm kind of that way as well. You know, I'm that way as well. You know, I was having a down day, and it just so happened to be on my birthday. But then
I think
when
that's
I'm
what
having
it was.
a down day, I'm like,
It's
know,
just
I
a
can
shitty day to have a down day.
Right. Because then if I have my quiet time and people aren't calling me, that's the thing though. People were calling me and calling me, and I felt bad because
that's even worse.
I wasn't answering my phone. Right.
That's a worse day to have a down day.
Right.
Because everybody's fucking expecting you to be happy. It's like your birthday is shit.
Right. And then the first person that called me was my Nino. And but he
your godfather.
He made me feel good because all I hear him is singing, and he's like, I'm playing the organ for you. Like, he was playing right there and cool. Singing to me, and he did lift my spirits. And he called me when I was on my way to go see Nikki.
That's cool.
You know, but even I was having that down day, and then I was reading all the, birthday wishes on Facebook and all the calls that I received and all the text messages I received. I mean, I couldn't stay down that long either. Just seeing all the love, that I bring to people's lives. Like, I got such a beautiful message from a dear friend of mine on Facebook. And let me tell you, it was like the perfect message for me that I needed to hear. And so
before we get into that message, if you guys would like to go to oppositesattractpodcast.com, Sonja would like to finish the rest of this ad because I could barely fucking talk.
I wouldn't even be able to forget it.
Go for it, babe.
I don't even know what to say.
You guys can find everything at oppositesattractpodcast.com. You guys can follow us there. You can follow our social media. You can watch the podcast there. You can listen to it there. You guys can barely understand what's happening right now, probably. But if you go to our website, you'll see the support the show tab. And if you click on that, it'll take you to our Amazon link. Anything that you purchase through that link won't cost you anything extra, but it helps out the show. And if you search Opposites Attract Podcast on Amazon, you'll find our merch. You can find t-shirts, phone cases, pop sockets, all that kind of stuff by searching Opposites Attract Podcast.
Yes. And if you would like to buy us a coffee, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod. Yes.
And like we said, if we ran into you guys at a coffee shop or a bar or whatever, we'd love to buy you a coffee, buy you a beer, and get to know you a little bit. Yes. And this is your chance to do the same thing for us. If you guys go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod, you guys can do that there. And also, we're affiliates with Pinwheel, which is a smartphone for kids, pretty much the best smartphone for kids available. They have apps that are picked by therapists, by teachers, by parents, by counselors that are concerned parents that they just want the phone to be a tool for the kids.
Yes.
Something that's going to make them more productive.
Yeah. I mean, if you are one of those parents that you're concerned about giving your children access to social media, it's a great phone because you get to choose what apps.
Yeah, what apps they get on their phone. And you can turn kind of the phone into a tool for the kid to learn instead of something that they're addicted to.
Yes.
Like TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram nonstop.
Yep.
Like our daughter has the phone and she's like on Duolingo. She's learning languages. She's doing things that are productive and helpful for her. Right.
Yes.
And if you guys would like 10% off of a Pinwheel phone, our promo code is...
It is
OAP10.
Yes.
OAP10.
What Miguel said.
All in caps at pinwheel.com, and that'll get you 10% off of a Pinwheel phone.
Yes.
So there you go.
And if you trust Inc.
Oh, yeah. Trust Inc.
Don't forget.
We also have a notary company.
Yeah.
If you guys are buying a house, refinancing, and all that stuff, Sonja will tell you about it.
You can request Trust Inc. to be your signing agency.
Dude, I'm all fucked up. Holy shit.
So I want to read this post from my really good friend,
TrustINKUSA.com.
Louis McFadden. He's an attorney that I actually recruited.
Attorney at law?
Yeah, who I recruited into Legal Shield.
Nice.
And it says, Sonja, in the world of noise and rush. I mean, this is such a perfect message. This is exactly what I needed to hear.
I can't breathe.
So, Sonja, in a world of noise and rush, someone stands silently behind, always watching us with love, reaching out his hand faithfully whenever we are tired, weak, or disappointed. Your life is blessed by the beautiful truth that you are loved without measure by an awesome God. Young lady, don't go through life, grow through life. Great minds have purposes, little minds have wishes. Life is a promise, fulfill it. People are just about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Learn to listen. Opportunities could be knocking at your door very softly. Love and you shall be loved. Remember that happiness is a way of travel, not a destination. God bless you more and more in every way. Happy birthday, young lady.
Yeah.
And that's exactly. And then I started to feel a sense of guilt, though. It's like,
why?
What do you have to be so sad about? It's like you have such a beautiful life.
Yeah.
Like I had that sense of guilt. But I did put a post on Facebook because that's the thing. Like when people look at us, if they read our post or they listen to our podcast, if you listen to our podcast, you know that we have ups and downs in our relationship, in our parenting, in our businesses, just in our life. Because I want people to know that even though we have such a good life, that we go through shit as well. Like
Yeah.
it is what it is. And I don't want, because there's times where people go onto Facebook and they're comparing their life to others. You know, so I did go onto Facebook and I did go, you know, put a post on there letting people know about how I was feeling and what, you know, what was going on. But also to let them know, like, if you have someone in your life who's very optimistic, someone who is always lifting up others, doing for others, you know, to check in on them as well. Because, you know, just like you know, they have their down days.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times we are the ones that people don't call to check in on.
Because you guys are always good.
Right. But that's not the case. That's not always the case.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
But it's just part of life. It's part of growing. It's part of growth. You know, and as long as you are able to sit in silence and you're connected to who you are and your feelings, when you start to feel this way, you will be able to get yourself out of it. Because if Nikki did not call, right? If she did not call, I would have probably started fasting. I would have started fasting. I would have gotten to prayer. I would have went into my closet and got down on my knees and have that conversation with God to figure out what I need to release in order to get back on my path. And sometimes you just need to take a day off.
Hey, you got to start using that bowl.
I started using the bowl.
I bought Sonia one of those bowls, one of those singing meditation bowls that you smack and it's like,
Yeah.
You can kind of get into your zone.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. No, I want to look it up, like how it's used, what it's used for. I hear that it's, because I started doing some research on it, and it's for healing. Like the vibration or something, the sound, the vibration heals the body.
Yeah,
like
you might want to look into that. Like if they actually know what they're talking about. They're talking about frequencies, like certain frequencies and vibrations, and how that makes you like become a X-Men or some shit. I don't know.
Well, maybe that's why I'm so good, because
I don't think it works that way.
I have other toys that go that get me in the zone.
Well, maybe. I don't know. They might have a point.
You know, it always gives healing.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same thing. But you know what? I don't know what it is. But for somebody with my, I don't you know
personality.
What? Now that I think about it, it's not weird. It's not weird and it's not odd. It's actually the way it's supposed to be. Because for somebody who thinks in like spirituality, like, because I don't have much, or I was about to say I don't have any, but I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't have it for the human things that people have it for. I don't have any of that shit. But I do have it for nature. And I do get that feeling when I'm out there.
Mm-hmm.
And people may say like, whoa. And that's another thing. Is like people telling you or thinking that they know how you feel. Because I may not believe in God, or I may not believe in your God. But that doesn't mean that I can't have those feelings for myself.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
For something else.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
And today, when we went out hiking, there were times when I'm just looking.
Yes.
And I'm shaking my head.
Yes.
Like I'm just shaking it like no, back and forth.
Like, yeah. Yes.
Like in disbelief of what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I don't attribute it to your God or the ones that other people believe in doesn't mean that I don't feel it.
Right.
And that it's not like, because when I'm out there, I have those feelings.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I see what it is. I know what, it's crazy because we were sitting out there having lunch on a fucking picnic table. like we're going to get ran into by Boo Boo and fucking Yogi the Bear. But we're sitting out there. And even Joey is looking at the mountain,
mm-hmm.
and he's like, it doesn't even look real. And he's a fucking 10-year-old.
Yes. Yes.
He's looking at the mountain that's right there while we're eating.
Yes.
And he's like, it's there and I see it, but it doesn't look real.
Right.
And I know exactly what he's talking
means.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you know what? You know when you get that feeling too?
Mm-hmm.
At the Grand Canyon. I remember the first time that I looked into the Grand Canyon and I'm like, this shit looks fucking nuts.
Yes.
Like you look at it and it looks like a postcard and it's right there in front of you. Like you're standing at the edge of the canyon, but it doesn't even look real. Like it's almost hard to believe what you're looking at because of the magnitude of it.
Yeah.
The Grand Canyon is a little bit different, when you look down into there. But today was similar.
See, and that's where I feel a lot of my spirit. I mean, I could feel it everywhere. I mean, I could feel it in my closet, but I can take myself there. I've learned how to tune in to that deeper self. But when I'm out in nature, like when I was feeling on my birthday, when I was feeling that way, I had to get out. Like I felt like I had to go out in nature. Because at first we were going to go out to a restaurant with a bar and we were going to drink, like have some drinks. But then my spirit was telling me that's not what you need right now. You need to be out. And that's when I had text Nikki and I'm like, I think that we should go hiking instead.
I'm just saying, yeah.
But I feel that sense. I feel that connection, the spirituality when I am in nature as well.
Yeah.
And before,
but I like I'm saying, like I get all those feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see it when I'm out there.
I do.
Like
I do.
Because I take it all in.
Mm-hmm. But you are more connected today than you were before. You wouldn't see things in that manner before.
Yes. But at the same time, it's different for me than it is for a lot of other people, I think.
How can you say that? Because you don't know what other people are feeling or thinking. So how can you say that?
Because other people like to look at everything. And all this came from something else. I just look at it. It's amazing. It's incredible. It is what it is.
And totally talks about that.
And, something that when I was looking for your gift, so like I mentioned on here, I bought you that singing bowl, right? And while I was looking for your gift, I was looking at other things because something that I thought about was like, I know you like to meditate. And I think that's something that would help you, especially during your birthday and the days leading up to your birthday and how you were kind of off. We were all off the days before your birthday. And I was trying to think of a gift. And then it kind of popped into my head, like meditation shit. Like look up something that's going to help with meditation because that might help get you back on track, And one thing that I found was, I told you, it was like a little, you guys can look it up on Amazon and buy it through oppositeattract.podcast.com. Go through our Amazon link and you guys will help us out. But it was really cool. It was like a little canvas and I told you about it. With a paintbrush.
Oh yes.
Where
yes.
It's got like a little container underneath the canvas and you fill that container with water. And you dip your paintbrush into the water and you paint on the canvas. But it makes a black mark when you paint. But as the water dries, it disappears. So the painting only lasts for a certain amount of time. And I was kind of reading it. And you kind of think about it, I was like, oh, okay, you fucking paint, it just disappears. But it's letting go is what the purpose of that painting is. Is knowing that you're not perfect. You might paint something that's fucked up. It's going to go away. And you'll get another chance to paint it again. It was so simple. And I was like, this is cool. Like I was thinking for our daughter, like she's very artsy. Like for Michaela, same thing. Just fucking paint it.
All right.
Let it go.
Let go. Yeah.
Let it go.
And
if you guys would like to pick one up, go to oppositeattract.podcast.com and click on our Amazon link and look it up and buy it.
Yes. So.
But isn't that a cool thing?
So my tip, before we move on to the next subject that we're going to talk about is that, you know, when you are in this funk, you have to recognize it and you have to sit in it and question it. Because sometimes it's coming from something that it could be something that has happened in your past that either you're unaware of or you haven't faced and you haven't healed from that yet.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're feeling sad, depressed, because a lot of women say, you'll hear it all the time, oh, it's that time of the month, I'm emotional. And that could have something to do with it, but it may not be the full reason.
There's other things.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah.
So, but you hear that often, right? Like, I'm feeling sad and I don't know why, or I'm feeling depressed, I don't know why. You got to question it and you have to get down to it. Don't cover it, figure it out and go through the healing process. And you can find videos on YouTube, but you have to make sure that the stuff you're watching that you relate to. Like, there's different ways to let it go. For me, it's through prayer. A lot of times it's through prayer. It's not really talking to someone, because a lot of times I don't have that someone that I can talk to that level.
What about just turning everything off?
Yes.
Turn everything off where nobody can reach you and just be by yourself.
Yes.
Whether you go for a walk.
That works. You just got to know who you are.
Or you lock yourself in your closet
and pray meditate, and cry.
But just turn everything off and let yourself just sit.
Mm-hmm. You know what else helps me as well is journaling. Like, just, you know, I'm feeling sad today. You know, I'm not sure, you know, where this is coming from. Like, it's letting everything go, because maybe you did have a shitty week. And everything that happened within that week is now sitting on your shoulders and you have not yet released. So now you're really feeling it. So journaling is another way. It also helps me to clear my head as well. So it just depends on what it is that I'm feeling and what I've gone through. But if you slow down enough, you will get the answers. And once you get the answers, it's just filling out or figuring out what process, what is it that you have, you know, I don't know, figuring out an outlet on how to release what it is that you're feeling.
Yeah.
So aside from that, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah.
So I read a post on our neighborhood page that a little boy had passed, and they had linked it to drugs.
Yeah.
And it's a school, like the high school that Audrey is going to be
across the street from our house.
Yes. And I've been hearing a lot of talk, and this has been going on for quite some time, on depression and anxiety and stress, all these feelings that our kids are going through. And what I'm hearing is that today our children are hearing the conversations that are happening in the household regarding our nation, our country, just the world itself, right? The pandemic
disaster that we're living in.
Yes. You know, the Republicans, the Democrats, and just
everybody's fucking shit
everything. Just the pharmaceuticals, the big business.
China and Russia's coming for us.
Yeah, like the children are hearing these conversations, and it's hard for them to see a future for themselves. And they're turning, you know, and then how all these new drugs are out, and they're using these drugs as an escape.
You know what? I don't know if it's just because you hear it. Like, we went from living in a neighborhood that was a little rough, right?
A whole lot of rough.
A whole lot of rough. A whole lot of rough.
Yes.
To moving to this neighborhood.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this is completely different. Night and day.
Right.
This is a 180 from where we used to live.
Right.
But one of the things that you hear where people have more money is that they have more money for other things. And kids have money. You know, because they get their allowance.
Right,
you might get a $40 allowance, where a kid in the hood isn't getting a $40 allowance.
Right.
Their mom could barely, like, she needs that $40 to buy something to eat.
Right. Yes.
But here, you get $40 for the week. You get $40 for the week, and you get to figure out what you're going to do with it. And then you go to high school, and you have more money for other things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's some of the things that we see
here. I'm
here.
sure it has to do...
Because you hear about a lot or a lot more issues when it comes to drugs in more... I don't know if it's more affluent neighborhoods or neighborhoods that have more money, but that is an issue, isn't it?
I don't know, but I've been told that as well. But too, when there's more money, there's maybe not a parent at home.
And
because they're so busy trying to keep up with what they have.
Yeah. They're trying to make it happen. And I don't know who I was talking to. I was talking to one of our kids about something. And it was that. It was like that just because somebody has money doesn't mean that their life is all great.
Right.
You know, because your friend that has money and they can have the nice shoes.
Oh,
you may not have the nice shoes.
They may have the iPhone.
But they may have the Jordans.
Yep.
They may have the new fucking iPhone 22 or whatever
Apple
the fuck year we're
laptop.
I don't even know how that shit works. But they got the newest one, the fucking XR Pro, whatever the fuck.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They have the new Jordans. They have the nice clothes. They have all that shit.
Yep.
But they don't have their parent.
They have all the materialistic
because their parent has to be working
to
make the money to get you all that shit.
Yeah. And sometimes they get them the shit to make up for the time that they're not spending with them.
They're not there with them.
Right.
And just because they have all that stuff doesn't mean that their life is better.
You know, I bet you that if a survey was taken with families, the family that you just described, and a family that doesn't have all that, but has the parent, has the love, you know what I'm saying? Like they have the parent home or present.
Dude,
what would a kid choose?
I'm just thinking, like, if you guys listen to our podcast, like all the issues that we've had, like these issues come for all kids. This isn't just us. We're not special. All kids have these issues or something similar.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Audrey's gone through some.
But the thing is that we're paying attention to what's happening.
Right.
We can see when our kids are going through something.
Right.
Like, oh, something's up with Joey, he's off.
Right.
Something's up with Audrey, she's off. Something's going on. We need to figure out, you need to talk to her, and then you can let me know what's going on, or I'll talk, or I fucked up and I'll go talk to her, or whatever. But we're paying attention to what's happening to the kids. Right?
Right.
Where with other families, maybe if they have the money and they have to maintain that, they may not be around.
Right.
You know?
So they're not picking up on the clues. They're not picking up on the different behaviors that they're going through because there's no parent at home to witness what the kid is going through. And if the parent's not there to talk to, if they don't have that relationship, then they're talking to their peers, which are giving them advice, but these peers are going through exactly the same shit that they're going through, and they have the same mentality as the child has. So what kind of advice are they giving them?
Listen, a lot of times, if your kids are going through a hard time, they're going to attract kids that are also going through a hard time. Those kids that are going through a hard time are going to give your kids advice about things that they should do or how they should handle situations that they're going through.
Right.
And that may not be the people that you want giving them advice.
Right.
So you want to be involved. It's so hard. It's just crazy. Like, this is a fact, like, for sure. We know this shit.
Right.
And we've seen this with kids, and we have personal experience with this shit.
Right.
Kids that go through things, they're close because they can relate.
Mm-hmm.
They know what that life is like.
Right.
I know what you're going through. But then you get close to them, and then those same kids are giving your kids advice.
Right.
They got their own shit to deal with. You got to focus on what's happening. You can't be oblivious. You can't just go back to fucking work and figure out how to make another, $200 to buy your kids or keep this shit rolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I remember the conversation we had, and we were talking about my situation, my birthday blues, and what I was feeling and what I was going through. And you and I had been really stressed. Just the podcast takes a lot of work, you guys. I mean, it's no joke. It's like you're making clips, you're having to edit. I mean, there's always something going on. You go from working a full-time job to working the podcast. I go from business to being the wife, to being the mom, the homework, all of it. And it is just it can consume you, and it will consume you. And I remembered the conversation we had that we understand why parents give in and allow children to have a TV in their room, a game
in their hand,
a phone in their hand, a video game in their, connected to the TV in their room.
They're damn near attached to it.
Right. But I can see how that can happen, because if the kid is busy with their face stuck in their phone or playing video games, and it gives the parent the freedom
to do whatever they need to do.
Whatever they need to do or want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's really tough being a parent, like a good parent, a present parent.
Damn.
Because they don't have all these other gadgets that are going to keep them busy.
But then again, there's a balance.
Yes.
Because there's some people that this is all about me, and I'm going to do my thing.
Right.
But
you mean like adults, parents?
But once you have kids, like you do put them first, and you think about them all the fucking time, because we do, right? No matter what, like, we're always thinking about our kids.
But
it's not always first. They're not always first. They're first sometimes, but they're not always first.
Right.
And I think that's the difference.
Because that's where things start to go down a tricky road. Because if we put them first, then that means we are last. That means that I'm not first.
Yeah.
And that's when we get into the situation that we just got into, where we're not spending enough time together. And now there's a disconnect with us. And if there's a disconnect with us, then there's going to be a disconnect with them, because we're going to be stressed. We're not going to be balanced. Therefore, the entire house is going to be unbalanced.
So first, kind of like what we had, if you guys listened to our previous podcast with Sandy Semino, our first podcast that we had with her, the most important thing is that you maintain that relationship with your partner.
The love, the with connection.
Your partner. You got to make sure that you guys are good.
Right.
And when you guys are good, they'll be good.
Right.
And but I don't know. Sometimes for some people, like for us, it's like when we're good, if me and you are good, then our focus is like, it's on us, but it's also on them.
Right.
But there's some people that it's like,
it's all
just
about
us.
them.
And
right.
or it's just about us and forget them.
Right. Right.
And that's what I'm saying, is that there has to be that balance.
And that's in life. But it's finding that balance, right?
Right.
Because there's times where we are good. Like, we are good, but you can we're going to continue to figure out this balance, because then something new is going to come into
It
our
always
life.
does.
Right. And
Yeah.
we've had something new come into our life. Now
It always does.
the financing, and that's something else now that, that we're working on, the investments now, the different investments that we're working on.
Yeah.
And that's taking some of our time. So too, maybe that's what created the imbalance between us. That maybe, so it's like you're always having to check in with the other person. Hey, how are you? Are you okay? What's going on? Because you can feel when something's not connected, when something's off balance.
But it's just like when
It's
you're on a
being
plane.
in tune. It's
It's
being
just like
mindful.
when you're on a plane and they tell you, when you're going through their briefing, they tell you, help yourself first and then help the person next to you.
Right.
Right? Because if you can't help yourself, you can't help the person next to you.
Right.
And that's the same thing when it comes to parenting. We have to help each other and help ourselves first.
Right.
Because when we're good, they'll be good. But if we're not good, it's going to be hard to help them.
Right. There's a lot of women, and I was one of them, who you have that nurturing personality.
And real quick, I'm sorry, but I don't mean to cut you off. But there may be people that listen to this podcast that aren't married, that aren't in a relationship.
Right.
But it's just yourself. Like if it's not your partner, it's you personally. Like you have to make sure that you take care of yourself, even if you're a single parent.
That's what I was going to get into. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you have to check in with you. So women or men, whatever,
mostly women, right?
Yes. Like you have to make sure that you are taking care of you. If even you have that nurturing personality, you're so busy taking care of yourself. And if you are a single parent, it's like you're so busy taking care of others that you forget about you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't really speak from being a single parent, but I did grow up with a single parent, and that's probably another discussion for another day, because there's a lot that goes into being a single parent when it's just you.
Yeah.
And you have little ones that you're taking care of. That's when you need to build that community. You need to build that village that you trust and be able to
find that
ask
support
for help when you need help.
Yeah.
Yep. But anyways, with you women, you have to check in with yourself, because we're so busy trying, to take care of our husbands, to take care of the household. And sometimes you can just
put those kids down early,
out.
Put them down and take some time for yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, if you're alone by yourself and you got a kid, you got two kids,
we can talk about that on the next podcast.
And give yourself some time to kind of regroup and focus on the next day. Like,
yes.
You have to.
Yes.
So thank you guys for being with us. Sorry about this
podcast.
You for dude. I can barely fucking talk. Like I don't. Oh
I can barely even talk.
I can barely talk. But thank you guys for being with us.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to the show. Make sure you guys go to oppositeattractpodcast.com. Share it with your friends. You guys can follow us there.
Yes. If you guys have any comments or any questions, feel free to give us a call at 480-912-5128. We would love to hear from you guys as well. Yes. So thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract podcast.
Where we get better
together. Bye.